Good afternoon, lovely tubers. White Mexican back in for another video today. Pretty interesting plethora of features that I'm going to be going over today, so let's just go ahead and get right into this. The first card is going to be Naturia Rose Whip. There is a super rare dawning from Hidden Arsenal 2, which is the original print. And more importantly, there is the Dual Terminal Rare dawning from Dual Terminal 2. This is just an amazing standalone card and on its own merit. Naturally, I would say this is kind of more in the realms of, obviously, it's a Naturia card, so Naturia is the Naturia build, but even more so anti-meta. I love running this card in anti-meta. I usually tech one of these in most of my builds. I'm an avid anti-meta player, and this card is just fantastic for that. It's pretty pricey for what it is, but then again, I mean, it is a rare, and it is from Dual Terminal 2 at that. It's pretty up there in age now. The first ones that we're going to see are going to be just a little over 5 bones, and then they quickly move up after that and bottom out all the way to 15 bones, and there is 1 page left of this. So this has always kind of been somewhat scarce in the market, but not like this. Only 1 page and not even a complete page at that is pretty incredible. Really quick, while we're here, let's go ahead and check out the alternate versions, which are the super rares, which still look pretty nice. As a super, they are higher in the rarity hierarchy, but when it comes to actually being able to get and acquire and printing and all that, the dual terminal rares, of course, are going to be the more desirable prints. And the super rares are about a little over a bone if you factor in shipping, and there's significantly more on the market here with 4 pages. Next is going to be Foolish Burial Goods. So we have several different prints here. What I want to take a look at is the original print Secret Rares, original print Secret Rare from Raging Tempest. And there's also a Secret Rare reprint from the 2017 Megaton, which is also another healthy alternative. I'll get into that in just a moment. So looking at the original prints, dawning from Raging Tempest, the set was infamous for Zodiacs. Zodiacs came out of this set, and they are running rampant, and it was a pretty crazy format, a very frustrating format for me personally. I really did not enjoy Zodiacs at full power, and it was just not a good time. Anyway, moving on here, Unlimiteds are about 7, which is kind of interesting. This card is holding some pretty good value. I don't remember it being this much, but it's a fantastic card. It's a Foolish Burial for Magic and Trap cards over the monsters. It's got fantastic artwork. So it makes sense that, and this being the highest rarity, it would be, holding a pretty significant price point. The first editions we're going to see here are going to be about 8 bones, and then it jumps to about 9, and then there's 3 pages left of this original print. So we said about 8-ish, 9 is going to be the price for the original prints. Now, I have this rule. I'm a big fan of kind of the old formula of the Megatons when they would reprint things in the same rarity, because it allows people to get, cards and, just the same nice high rarities and, cheaper when they get reprinted with the end of year Megatons. So, my rule of thumb is, if you can get the same card in the same rarity and it's significantly cheaper, like maybe let's see, we said $9 for the original secrets, whereas the Megaton reprint is $4. And then it starts to trickle up after that. So the Megaton reprint is significantly cheaper. It's about half price of the Raging Tempest original prints. I would get this one. I honestly would get the 2017 Megatons. I know that the rate ones are going to hold more value over time and a little bit nicer because it's actually from a core set, but it's the same rarity. It's the same rarity. It still looks very, very nice. You can still get these first edition and everything. So I would. This is my rule of thumb. I would definitely the price variation is significant between these two versions, so I would go for this reprinted version personally. Next is going to be some wind-up stuff, starting out with Wind-Up Rabbit. This is the secret rare, and then there's 2 super rare prints, but the secret rare is really cheap here. The last time I checked, I want to follow up, see if it's still kind of maintaining that really low, valuable price point. Beautiful secret rarity. Photon Shockwave. It was a really old set now. I want to say, what was it? It was Generation Force, which was an amazing set because that was a set we got XYZs in the transition set. And then I want to say, I think Photon Shockwave was the second set after that in the series. And then yeah, I always get the order mixed up with this set and that Galactic set. Was it Galactic Overdrive or Overlord or something? I can't remember. But anyway, Unlimiteds are really not holding much of anything. There's only 3 pages of this card left, so it's kind of trickling down on the market. First versions that we're going to see are going to be almost 6 bones. And there are 5 here from the Select I have 3 of, so it's pretty nice. And it's a little bit more expensive than I thought it was. Still a very reasonable price for what it is. This card has a pretty cool effect. Its artwork is fantastic. Again, it's an old school secret rare, which was, even back in the day, we got Ghosts and Ultimates in this core set back in this era. But this is still very, very nice. If you guys don't know by now, I talk about it all the time. Secret rarity is it's one of my top favorite rarities. I really love Ghost. Ghost is my favorite rarity, but secret rares really tie very, very close to Ghost rares for me. And so yeah, this is about 5-ish bones. And another card that I wanted to talk about specifically from the Wind Up archetype is Wind Up Rat. More specifically because this is a solo print still to this day, Dying from Order of Chaos, which is an ancient set now. I can't really say ancient. Ancient is more like Generation 1, like Duel Monsters era, but this is a very old set now. Order of Chaos is a really cool set. We got Insectors out of this set. Insectors, I love the artwork in Insectors, and I just love the Insector engine and kind of just like the way it plays. And this is Soul Print Super Rare, and this card was very, very key for the Hanlu combo back in the day. If you guys are older players like me and you guys remember when this set was just the bananas back in the day, it would use Hunter and Carrier and all these things to just rip your opponent's hand apart. It was pretty devastating. A really good time, really good Yu-Gi-Ohs. And it's gone up in price. It's about $3 now if you want to factor in shipping. Here's a 5 right here. And it's going to be a little bit over two bones. And again, there's only 4 pages left of this, so I just thought that was interesting. This card's very old and still hasn't been reprinted. And Carrier, unfortunately, is still banned. It would be really nice to get that card back because there's an ultimate print of Carrier, which just looks fantastic. Moving on, so the barrier statues. You can see the barrier statues. There's 7 different barrier statues here. The water one, Torrent, was the only one to see a reprint, so it's pretty incredible. Cybernetic Dark, Cyber Dark Impact was a very old set. Now that is, that's an old set, and these have yet to get any reprints besides Torrent out of the OTS Torrent Pack 4. Unfortunately, came out not even as super as a common, which is very disappointing. These cards are really amazing. They're basically like fossil dinos. They basically still lock down any kind of special summoning outside of their attribute. So if you guys are familiar, like, Heavens, anything that's not light, you can't special summon. Storm Winds, anything that's not wind, you can't special summon. So I'm not going to go into like every single one of these because that would be pretty time consuming. But these are really good cards, and they've kind of fluctuated in price. There's kind of like times where you can see like this wind one, it's like a couple dollars, and really like the wind one for some reason is the only one that's worth a couple dollars apparently here. But it's just very interesting that these have not got reprints, not even as like a super rare or a rare or anything. It'd be really unfortunate if these cards would be getting the total shaft if they just got reprinted one rarity up by just making a rare. That'd be really unfortunate. But I think that these cards definitely merit at least a secret rare. That would be a fantastic reprint for these. But these are all fantastic cards. If you guys can get them in first edition prints, they are the solo prints that we have in this game. Oh, I'm sorry. So there was the Fire one was reprinted too. So Torrent was reprinted in OTS Tournament Pack 4 as well as Inferno, but all still commons. So it's kind of interesting. Next, really quickly, I just want to briefly go over PSV, Pharaoh Service. So this is an amazing Generation 1 Duel Monsters era set, and there's so many amazing cards. First edition Secret Jinzo, first edition Ultra 1000 Eyes Restrict. Those are collector cards now, and very, very powerful cards, and really popular anime cards. And there's just so much great, just rich history behind a lot of these cards, especially these kind of front stars here. You also have Call of the Haunted, which still to this day is a very playable card. I personally run 3 copies in my Satellar Knight deck. I'm really a big fan of Satellar Knights. You have Premature Burial, which is this card unbanned? This card was banned forever. I don't know if it's unbanned or it came unbanned, but and it got banned right back immediately. But this card is really great. Imperial Order, it was banned forever. This card was banned for like probably the longest of times. It came back, I don't know, I want to say maybe a year or 2 years ago. It got a heavy errata, which made it a lot more of a painful card to play, but it's still a very, very powerful card, and it's got amazing artwork. This is the original print Secret Rare drawing from Pharaoh Servant. Now, granted, keep in mind, if you're an older player and you remember these Generation Core sets, Secret Rare was as high as players could go. There wasn't any Ghost Rares, there wasn't Ultimate Rares, there wasn't any all these crazy like Secret Gold or Ghost Gold or any of these mixture sets. It was literally just Secret Rare was like that was the as high as you could go. And back in the day, in these original core sets, these booster sets for Generation 1, you could there was only 2 different Secret Rares per set, per core set. So it was very, very exciting and rare and unique to pull Secret Rares and to have Secret Rares. So this was a really big deal, and that's a part of a reason why I really just appreciate and I just love Secret Rares so much, because they were extremely valuable. I mean, they're still valuable to this day, but they were even more so valuable and rare back in the day. So unlimited prints are not really going for much of anything in interest of value. See if we can dig out a first edition here. Moving on to the first 3 pages, still no first editions, or the 4th page. Several different pages of this card, surprisingly though. And this is going up in value very, very quickly. So the first edition is going to be coming from the 6th page. It's pretty incredible, and it's already up to $101. That is amazing. Like, ladies and gentlemen, this card has not been this high and like ever. Even when this card was out and you were playing this card and it was a brand new card, I don't think it was this high. That was a long time ago. But this is incredible. This must have been a in the dark buyout or something, because now I'll be realistic. I really don't think that these people that are listing it for 100, 150, 180, they're not going to get their money. They're not going to get this value. This card it's good, but with the new errata, it heavily limited this card. And this is just collector's value. The reason why is obviously some people have started to try to kind of pick this and, chew this up in the market, and they're trying to kind of, have limited quantities, and this is very old. Like, this is an ancient set. It's, it's a secret rare. It's got good artwork. It's a really strong card. So it has all the attributes of, going up like this, but not to this point. This is obscene price points like this, and I really just don't think that people are going to buy into this price point, and it's going to increase. So I would just wait on this card. I would not be spending $100 for that card. That is insane. Moving on, Armory Arms. So you'll kind of see the trend. There's mostly level 5 synchro monsters to kind of wrap up this video, but there's a couple level 4s. So Armory Arm, it's pretty good. I think it's kind of, I want to give the spotlight to it for a little bit, because I think it needs a little bit more attention than it's been getting. Booster Pack 6, we donned a rare and ultra rare from Yusei Fudo Duelist Pack 8. But what I want to talk about is the secret rare prints from Legendary Collection 5Ds. I did make, I think, either one or two videos specifically kind of picking this set apart, going through and really breaking it down for everyone. This is an amazing reprint set. There's a lot of old school cards that got some pretty awesome rarity bumps, and I would definitely check it out. All of the Legendary Collection sets have been holding relatively well value. So this is the secret rare print. There is almost none in the market. There is 2 listings, and the first listing, both first edition, comes out at $7. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know who's buying up the secret rare Armory Arms. I know I have a couple prints myself. Really like the artwork on this, and it's just, I think it's just probably one of the better level 4s in my opinion. Moving on, Herald of the Arc-Light. So this is a really great card. You don't have to play Heralds to run this with extra Foolish Burial of Goods. I'm not personally a fan of that card because paying half your life points for an effect like that, unless it's going to win you the game, obviously it's worth it. But that's very situational. Not a big fan of that card, but you can combo it off with extra Foolish Burial of Goods, and you can pitch this straight to the grave and pop off its effects. If you're trying to search, if you're playing ritual-based stuff. But there's another print, so it's kind of weird. There's also an additional super rare. So it came out originally as a super rare from the new Challengers. There's a 2015 Megaton super rare reprint, and then just recently the Battles of Legends Heroes Revenge ultra rare print. There was also a third super rare print, and it was a special edition. I don't remember if it was the same new Challengers set or not, but it was basically just a super rare promo from the Unlimited Edition sets. So let's go ahead and take a look. I accidentally clicked on the Megaton reprint. I'm really happy that the ultra rare print came out because it kind of bumped the super rare's price down a little bit, which personally I would much rather have the original print super rares first edition over the reprinted ultra rares, but that's just my style personally. And for a while, I remember this card, it kind of saw like a hype train. It went like all the way up to like $15, $20, and I had several prints at the time, and I think I popped off about 9 or 6 of them. I don't have very many of these left, but overall, they've still hold pretty good value. Unlimiteds are about 5, first editions are about 7, and there's only 3 pages left for the original print. So this is a pretty great card. It's got that negation effect, so. And it's got pretty cool artwork too. So if you can bust it out, this is a pretty nice alternative. People like to play that card if they can. Next card is going to be a very, very special card to me. This is Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, specifically the Ultimate Rare version, the highest version that we have to the date in the TCG. So this card is, I think it's safe to say, it's pretty infamous on its own merit. Dawning from Storm of Ragnarok, this was a special time in Yu-Gi-Oh! When 6 Samurais were at full power with, I think, some of the original last support. I want to say, I think it was Extreme Victory, which was that the set that, no, I think it was, whatever the sets that gave them Gateway, and, Shien was, this card was at 3. And there was just a lot of crazy shenanigans going on, and this deck was just, it ran rampant through the meta, and it was a very, very popular deck. It was a very expensive deck, and it was just a really powerful deck. There's just such amazing, infamous history behind this deck. During that time, I was not a 6 Samurai fan. I actually really despised this deck. I lost to it all the time because Gateway to 3 and Shien to 3 and everything, just the spamming and the swarming, it was just very, very, it was just a nuisance for me and amongst many other players that were not 6 Samurai players. And it was very difficult to get around this deck because this was actually back in 2012, late 2012, when I had gotten back into the game after had stopped playing the game for several years. And it was very difficult to get used to the synchro mechanic and all the new cards, and it was just pretty crazy. There's other versions of this, of course. Unlimited start off at almost 23, and then I don't think we get our first editions until, okay, so first editions, there's one here on the second page, goes all the way up to a whopping 65, and there is 3 pages left of this. Now, really quickly, there is a secret rare print. There's several prints of this. Now, you can't replace this ultimate rare. This card, like, you pretty much, you have to get it ultimate rare because it's just in all its glory. It deserves being an ultimate rare for just such an amazing card, and it was one of the first big time negators, in my personal opinion. It was one of the first cards to do this, kind of just stand alone, just instantly deny your opponent from its resources so easily. And can't spell. Anyway, as I was saying, this is just you're gonna want to go all out in this card. Now, 65 bones, yes, that's a lot of money, and I personally don't even really feel comfortable paying that myself for the first editions. But this is a very popular card. It's a really old card, and there's a relatively large, still to this day, because of this card. Now, I think it's safe to say that because of this Synchro Monster, that this is what made the deck so fun and so popular, because it was just such a good card, especially back in the day when there's very limited negation. Now we have negation running around rampant like crazy from the extra deck, but Sheehan was one of the first cards to kind of do that, and it was just extremely devastating. What I wanted to talk about, so you have the ultra rare, you have the super rare, but Spirit Warriors donned a secret rare print, and when Spirit Warriors dropped quite a couple of years ago, I remember I bought several of these, all for pretty much $1 and under for first edition secret rare prints, because I just went crazy over this, because this was the first time that we were able to get a really high, nice rarity of Sheehan, right under the ultimate rare for a very affordable price, and still to this day, it's still like only 2 bones for this near mint first edition. So again, there's a pretty nice player base for Six Samurai. The deck is relatively easy to play. It's a little bit more complicated now. I think back in the day when it was fully unlocked, it was a little bit more easier to pilot, because you had to do your counters and play your counters right on your magic cards and all that. But a fantastic card. If you guys don't have at least a playset of secret rares, I think it'd be a very good investment to get a playset of secret rares alone, just because it's just such a. I could talk all day about Sheehan. It's just a lot to say about that. Moving on, TG Hyper Librarian. So we are in Master Rule 5, and with that, there's a lot of, I would say, there's a lot more synchro plays. There's always been synchro plays, but I think synchro plays is a more popular choice nowadays in the extra deck, because we are in full-on Master Rule 5. And TG Hyper Librarian has always been a fan favorite for synchro fanatics. And there's a secret rare from 5Ds. There's the original, I believe this is the original print from the Shonen Jump magazines, which are pretty nice as well. I'm not a big fan of ultra rares, but when it comes to promo cards, especially the Jump ones, these are very collectible and they're really nice. Super rare from the Return of the Duelist special edition, and then of course a common out of OTS 10 packs. So pack 10. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highest rarities. Secret rare, donning again from yet another infamous card from Legendary Collection 5Ds. Fantastic artwork in this, and again, being a secret rare, just a fan naturally. Great draw power for those synchro spam swarm decks. First edition is going to come out to be about 16 bones. Only a handful of listings here, and it bottoms up at about 21. So this is naturally, I think everyone could have kind of, as well as Formula Synchron, this card is being pretty much swooped up the market too on the nice rarities, because we are in Master Rule 5, and synchros have always been a pretty fan favorite mechanic. I don't think people have had much complaints for synchros. Now pendulums is another story. I've never been a fan of pendulums, but that's okay. Everyone likes what they like. But moving on here, we have the ultimate rare version of TG Wonder Magician. So of course there's an ultra rare print. I think there's also a secret rare print also from Legendary Collection 5Ds. You guys have to check that out. I'm not sure, but I know it has a secret rare print, and of course obviously an ultra rare print from Extreme Victory. This was a really cool set. We got Tour Guide from the Underworld from this set, and there's a lot of cool cards that held great value for quite a long time here. And was it I can't remember if I think it was Storm of Ragnarok that we got Maxi. I always get Storm of Ragnarok and Extreme Victory confused. Moving on here, so this is the highest rarity as an ultimate rare. The Unlimiteds are going for about 16, and the first editions we see are 23. So only 3 pages left. So this it's kind of like at a point, it's reached a point where it's like it's kind of uncomfortable to buy, but it has 3 different effects, and this is an ultimate rare. And granted, again, we're talking about first edition value. And it's got really great artwork, and Extreme Victory is definitely it's up there in age now, so it's completely up to you. Personally, I just picked up 2 copies of these for 20 bones a piece. Now spending 40 and then plus I live in Texas, so I had to pay Texas taxes on it. If you guys don't know that, you get taxed on every single thing. I didn't really know that for the longest time. I guess I just wasn't paying attention, but you get a little bit of tax on every purchase on TCG Player here, depending on your state tax where you live. And it came out to be about 44. It was roughly around 44 total for 2 lightly played first edition ultimate rare versions of TG Wonder Magician. I personally think it's going to go up. I personally think buying it fortunately I was able to get it a little bit cheaper than the first edition here for 23. And another reason it was a 2 of, I didn't really want to just have one, because if it goes up, I want to have one to play. If I decide to play it, I want to have that ability, and also have one to sell or trade or whatever it may be. But I think that this is going to go up. I think its effect is really good, it's really diverse, and it's an ultimate rare. So I mean, it's got all that trending going for it. Next card is going to be High Speedroid Chanbara. There is a common, a super, and of course the original print secret rare from High Speed Riders. And this card kind of comes and goes in popularity. Artwork is kind of a little strange. I like the coloring, but it's I don't know. It's just I'm not really feeling the artwork too hard on this, but it's a fantastic card. It's a double smacker, and you can go for some heavy hits with this card. And it's about $8. It's about $8, and then it trickles up to about 10. And there's only 2 pages left of this, so it's a relatively popular card. So I didn't want to spend too much time talking about it, as well as Naturia Beast. Now, how can I cover level 5 synchro monsters without the infamous Naturia Beast? This is probably the best level 5 that we will ever have in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! This card is just legendary on its merit alone for its devastating negation abilities. There is the Dual Tremor Ultra Rare, which I'm not going to go into. This is the highest rarity. It's really hard to get, and it's very expensive. Everyone knows about this one. I will take a look at the original print secret rares from Hidden Arsenal 2, which are holding a fantastic price point as well. The first edition we're going to see here is going to be about $16. Then it goes to about $17. Only 3 pages left of this. Now, this is going to sound kind of crazy, because seeing how it's a Hidden Arsenal secret rare, and Hidden Arsenal secret rares, or Hidden Arsenal is, I don't remember if it was all secret rare or it was super rare and secret rare. It was super rare and secret rare, I believe. And anything under 20 for this, for first edition, remember, you have to get first edition. Now, granted, even though this is a Hidden Arsenal secret rare, where secret rares run rampant in those packs back in the day, keep in mind that this is still, it's not the highest rarity. I mean, in that rarity hierarchy, yes, secret rare would be the highest because we don't have a ghost, we don't have an ultimate. But the ultra rare definitely does doppel this as being a dual terminal holo print. But the secret rare is still very, very nice. And I may be sounding a little biased here because I know secret rares. I'm a really big fan of secret rares. But this is a blowout card. This is an amazing card, and I'm actually personally thinking about kind of reconsidering and going back and maybe even picking up. Well, actually, I'm not because I already have my copy. I already have a secret rare copy and a plethora of ultra rares, which I'm really happy about. The ultra rare coming out in dual power because those have been going up slightly, and I really want to sell those because they are just god awfully ugly. But I know people will eventually buy them because everyone's going to need this card, especially now in Master Duel 5 because this is just such a powerful card. So anyway, anything under $20 for a first edition, at least slightly played, I think is a fantastic buy for Materia Beast. Nat Beast is always going to be just an amazing level 5 and one of the most infamous synchro monsters of all time, in my opinion. There's Legendary Collection 5D's Ultra Rare, and then there was also the Dual Power Ultra Rare, which everyone tore apart Dual Power like crazy. It was a very, very heavily invested in and bought part set, and it's barely even $2, not even $2 without shipping. Surprisingly, and there's 5+ pages again, so they're still playing the market. It's going to be a long while before the Dual Power Ultra Rares hold any real value, but it's a very cheap alternative to get this card, and I think everyone should have at least one of these because it's just a fantastic card in general. Next card is going to be Alea Justice Catastor. We have a lot of great prints. There's the preview, which is just it's unattainable. Its collector's value, it's super, super high. I wouldn't really worry too much about it. There's the Ultimate Rare, which is holding some pretty great value too. The Hidden Arsenal Original Print Secret Rares, and my personal favorite, the Dual Terminal Rares. Really quickly, I wanted to go down and showcase a card that it's been a very long time since I showcased, but I thought it was really, really cool. And it used to be a solo print. It's not a solo print anymore, but it kind of is technically a solo print because the other prints are speed duel cards. So in my opinion, it's still kind of considered a solo print to me. Dawning from Shining Darkness as a rare. You can pause the video, read this effect. Not anything too crazy or special or anything. There is just a lot of light decks running out there, and I think this card can hold its own with that. It's a pretty cool effect on itself. You can go for rank 3 plays, and it's a dark, and its artwork is pretty interesting too. First editions of this is like a dime. There's really just plenty on the market, and it's very, very cheap. With this card, you have to go for, obviously heavy stacks because it's really cheap. Like here's a 29 of, but I've always just appreciated this card. I don't really know. I think it's pretty good for what it is and for its age. I think it has a really solid effect. With that being said, I want to move on to the actual synchro card, Catastor, which is everyone's favorite, the most popular one, the best Alea Justice card there is out there in my personal opinion. But before I do, there was another card. It was a secret rare, and it was really cheap, and its artwork was pretty cool too, and its effect wasn't too shabby either. Here it was. It was Cyclone Creator. So this is a full-on solo print, dawning from Duelist Revolution as a secret rare. Artwork looks pretty cool. I pretty much like everything in the artwork besides the face. The face looks a little goofy. You can pause and read the effect of this card. It's not too blowout, but if you play at the right time, like if you're playing a synchro eccentric deck and you have a lot of tuners on field, this could be pretty blowout. And again, it's a solo print secret rare. And if you look at the price points of this card being a solo print, like the first editions are like under $1 before factoring and shipping. And there's quite a few of them. Not a lot of stacks, unfortunately. Like really quickly, let's see. Let's do some 3-of stacks. So for the 3-of stacks, it jumps up quite significantly here because of this $4 shipping, unfortunately. So you guys will probably have to tack these in if you're interested in investing this card. Tack it in as an extra on your cart or whatever it may be. I just thought it was very interesting that this was so cheap, being a secret rare and being a solo print. So going back to Catastor, of course, the ultimate rares from, I want to say it was some OTS pack, they're going to be holding some pretty great value. They really weren't that expensive too long ago, but with the grand awakening of everyone under the sun buying out ultimate rares, it's definitely going to see an increase in value. It's already at 50 here, and there's really not that many at all. It's 50 plus, and then it, this, if you get into PSA stuff, I'm not personally into PSA stuff, but you can get one for the affordable price of 600. It's pretty interesting. And then it goes to 60 quickly after that. So this looks very, very great. I don't personally have this Ultima Rare version, but if you want to get a very nice version that's not, 50 bones, I would go for the dual terminal rares. Now, we do have the Hidden Arsenal secret rares, which look really nice too. And if it wasn't for the dual terminal print, because I really do favor dual terminal cards, dual terminal is gone. It's gone bye-bye. Konami is no longer producing dual terminal cards. And it was a really fun kind of story behind the dual terminal cards. You went in, you played the game, you printed out a card, and it was a really cool mechanic. And I thought it was very creative the way that Konami promoted the dual terminal sets. And the secret rare is, again, so you got to be careful with this because, again, like between the variations between the unlimiteds and the first editions are about $2, and there's five pages, so definitely a healthy alternative. I would not have any shame playing a secret rare over an ultimate rare. And there is the dual terminal rare, and this is even probably cheap.